bunch of introverts opening a boxing club. It's been the quietest boxing club ever. Honestly, I don't actually know what to say. And probably, I'm gonna try to do it next time. Underdogs exists because I really wanted to bring Shape Your Life to Niagara, and we couldn't find a home for it in any of the existing boxing clubs. So then somebody, me, decided that it was time to open a boxing club so that Shape Your Life could have a home, and so that we could hopefully fill what I think is a really big gap between Boxercise and the traditional boxing club, and give all of you, except Terry's because he's got his own place, Fight Fit on James Street, but give all of you, give all of you guys a place to train where you will feel comfortable and welcome, and you'll get a really good workout, but you'll never get hit, which is like great. You get to box and never get hit, because getting hit, I've done it. It's not a ton of fun. I would thank a bunch of people, but I wrote a blog post this morning, partly so that I wouldn't forget anyone. So I'm actually not going to thank people right here, right now, because I will forget people who I am going to thank, though, because this wouldn't be ready today if it was not for this small person and the other small person who has probably run away because all of you were looking at him. There he is. These two painted and cleaned and just did so much work. So thank you guys. That's all I have to say.
Well, I guess since I'm less introverted, when I read the blog post this morning, I thought about a meeting I had on Parliament Hill with a number of executives from various sporting organizations, and they came in and they said, sport is inherently good. And I think they had a number of those meetings by the time I got there, and they were all agreeing to themselves sport was inherently good, and I said, no. And they said, what do you mean, no? And I'm like, well, sport itself isn't inherently good. I've met a lot of terrible people who are involved in sport, but if you have a good coach, and if you are involved and have an individual who cares and is doing it for the right reason, and it's about building up the individual, sport is a vehicle to do that. And in reading your blog post, the story and the rationale behind this is incredible, and you are bringing out the greatness of sport. And I wanted to thank you and congratulate you and wish you all the best going forward. So,
So I'm next. And I'm a neighbor. You see, we actually lived in the same neighborhood for a while, residentially speaking. And now I'm in the same neighborhood, as some of you know. I've been in that building just down the street, 2 Secord Drive, since 1987, before that was downtown. There's a lot of traffic in the street. It's a good location. First of all, I want to say that. There's a lot of activity here. But this is a new component for the street, and it fits in a bit fits in quite a bit with a fitness center, which is just down the street as well. Because more and more, not by looking at me, but by others, people are into fitness. And we are particularly interested in seeing young people get used to participating in sport, whether it's competitive sport, whether it's team sport, or it's individual sport. And another thing that I can mention from my background, I'm a very big sports fan. So I have probably attended my lifetime more sports events than most people, coached in some of them and so on. So I recognize on a personal basis how important sports is. And I admire those of you who are here today who encourage people to become involved in very constructive and active sports activities, which build not only the physical, and that's important, we mentioned the physical today, but also, and Chris made reference to it, building good citizens as well, building good people. And most of the people involved in sport, not all, most of the people involved in sport are there to, particularly in a coaching or a mentor circumstance are there to impart that to younger people or to new people to the sport. This is a good location. I don't know if the itty bitty pie company is going to be here every day, but certainly it's here today.
But they're right across the street. So come for a workout
So
and then
there
go
you
get
are.
pie.
Yeah, I should mention that too. Yes, not only next to my office is there a fitness place, there's also an eating place right in the same plaza. So I'm delighted to be here today. Laura, of course, is very active in the community. As she mentioned, she's been involved in the kind of boxing where you have to take two to throw two, let's put it that way. And this new concept is I think going to be very valuable. I brought along a scroll which I hope captures a bit of what we'd like to see happening here on Secord Drive. Reads as follows to Underdogs, I like that name by the way, Underdogs Boxing Club, grand opening and ribbon cutting, Sunday, October 1, 2017. I'd like to take this opportunity to extend to everyone involved with Underdogs Boxing Club my very best wishes on the occasion of your grand opening. And I see that very young people are involved in this club, and I'm delighted to see that. Your facility will provide the residents of Niagara, because we hope you come from more than just St. Catharines, with an inclusive space in which people of all skill levels will be able to develop and practice their boxing skills in a safe and accepting atmosphere under the supervision of experienced coaches. As you celebrate this important milestone, you can take justifiable pride in knowing that our community benefits greatly from the services that you offer and the active lifestyle that you promote. With very best wishes for success in the years to come, I am yours sincerely, and I actually signed this not that long ago, so the ink may not be quite dry yet. Signed by Jim Bradley, this guy who has an office sits on the street. So I'm delighted to be here. You obviously have a lot of friends and supporters who are here today, some who are unable to be with you today, but are here in spirit. So I congratulate you, first of all, and second, I wish you the very best. I know that many people are going to benefit immensely. To the youngsters who are here today, who have provided you with assistance, those who are prominent and those who are hiding, I thank them particularly for being involved. So, Laura, congratulations. Paparazzi has arrived, I see you. Very good. All right. And Sandie was a good athlete in her day, too.
My old teacher. Hi, everybody. I'm Sandie Bellows, City Councillor for Grantham Ward. I'm representing Walter Sendzik, who is at the Powwow today. He sends his apologies that he was the lead on that, so it sent me here. I just want to give you some background. Laura and I met last week because I wanted to know more about the Underdogs. And when she and I were talking, the Shape Your Life program, which is for victims of violence, really caught my attention because I was a victim of violent crime 27.5 years ago, where I was brutally raped and almost murdered. And yes, there's counselors, and they're hard to find, but to help you heal mentally and emotionally. But that physicalness is always there. Every Christmas, January, when it comes to the date, the body remembers. You start to hurt, you start to feel like, the cold is there, and you start to live through those emotions. So when Laura told me about this, I went home that night and remembered a lot. But I gotta tell you, I'm so proud to say that you've taken this step, the courage, the tenacity, your commitment to not just to victims of violence, but to all of us in the community for doing this. I can't thank you enough, and I hopefully look forward to taking your first course, because I'd like to learn, to live through that as well, through the physical aspect. And there's a lot of women out there that won't tell their story, that are afraid to tell their story. And so you'll see people coming in that, you might think they're awfully quiet or they're kind of different, but you know what? They're living through their own tragedies, whether it's 30 years ago, 4 years ago, or a week ago. So I encourage you all to embrace them, and I know you're not judgmental because you wouldn't be doing this. So I just take a moment and read this. It says, "Congratulations from Mayor Walter Sendzik, Council and citizens of St. Catharines, presented to Underdogs Boxing Club. The Mayor and Council of the City of St. Catharines take great pride in the presentation of this certificate, given in recognition of the grand opening of the Underdogs Boxing Club. We commend Laura Epp as the founder, president, and head coach for investing in our community. The Shape Your Life program will empower women to achieve emotional healing and physical fitness. We appreciate your commitment to the health and wellness of the women in our community, and we wish all of you every success in the ring. And one thing that I took away from our meeting, Laura, and that really struck me was, you know, when we become victims of crime, we don't ask to be put in that position. But when you said to me, you know, it's not like you go in a boxing ring when people think boxing is violent. I think that as well. But when Laura said to me, you know what, when you go in that boxing ring here, it's consensual. You make that physical choice, that mental choice of learning and coming into that. And I'm really glad you turned that around to me, because that'll stay with me forever. So I commend each and every one of you for giving back to the community, and I wish you all the best of success.